Good afternoon. We are the last department to do our sharing, and if you have been with us online since this morning, I have to applaud your stamina, and we are so grateful that you've stuck with us all this time. So before we go into sharing, more about our department programs, our head of department, Professor Greg Turikian, has some words of welcome for you. Greg?
Okay, hello everybody. Thank you, Christina. It's a pleasure to be here. I've been thinking long and hard, why is it that mechanical engineering is the most popular engineering major at NUS? And I have some new thoughts about that that I'd like to share with you today. I think that there's really two kinds of mechanical engineering students. One kind is interested in designing things that move in the world, okay, whether it's cars or airplanes or rockets or robots. And then the other kind is what I would call the physicist kind. So in high school, when you learn Newton's laws, F equals ma, well, that's really one of the cores of mechanical engineering also. They don't care so much about that in physics anymore. For them, it's sort of old physics, but we use it on a daily basis. And so I think really those are two of the main constituents who come to mechanical engineering departments, the classical physicist and the designer. So you'll find mechanical engineering devices everywhere, whether it's airplanes, oil rigs, et cetera, out in the world, factory things, 3D printing. But you'll also find mechanical engineering devices in the home, things as mundane as an air conditioner or a vacuum cleaner. Those are also mechanical things. And then increasingly, there's design of mechanical things to take care of people, like wearable robotics and soft robotics, things like this. So over the next half hour, we're going to be highlighting different aspects of our program and our department. I'll be here until the end if there are any questions for me. And we look forward to having you come to campus. Thank you.
Thanks, Greg. You've said the thing so well that I don't have anything to very much to add. But anyway, I'll try to do my best. So I'm just going to share my screen of my PowerPoint slides and play them. Okay, so I think everybody should be able to see my slide. So once again, welcome to the sharing by mechanical engineering. So as Greg has mentioned, and as you've seen in the videos, mechanical engineering is really encompasses a lot of the things that are around us. But I'm going to show you some examples that you might not have thought of as mechanical engineering. And I'm going to start by introducing you to Yari. So Yari here, who is hang on. Okay. I have to resume share. Something's gone wrong. I'm so sorry about that. Oh dear. Okay, hang on. Oh dear.
You gonna hand me that?
Sorry, my screen froze, so I'm just going to bring it back up. Yeah, my PowerPoint is in the background, so hang on, I'm just gonna stop share and share again. I'm so sorry about that. Okay, so yeah, great. So meet Yari, and Yari here is 22 years old, so he's older than most of you who have just received your A-level results. So you might have noticed something strange about Yari's beak. And so what happened here is that Yari was diagnosed with cancer of his casque or the beak, and without his beak, he's actually unable to eat. And so, in fact, Jurong Bird Park has already lost 2 hornbills before Yari's cancer diagnosis to exactly the same diagnosis. So what did we do? In mechanical engineering, we teamed up with design engineers and also vets, and we designed a custom-made 3D printed prosthesis for Yari. And after a groundbreaking surgery, now Yari is a cancer survivor. And so Yari by now would have grown his new beak, but engineers were actually able to help Yari to continue feeding while he recovers. So we are very proud that mechanical engineers do something like this through just design and making objects with new 3D printing technology. Now, last year, we did something similar during COVID. People were running out of nasal swabs for the testing, and some of our colleagues very quickly came up with swabs, quickly 3D printed them to test out different kinds of configurations, different kinds of swabs, and we are very proud that these are actually in production and in use now. Now, the next example might be more of what you would think of as something that mechanical engineers do. And this is a startup by some of our graduates who even started this when they were in their undergraduate. It's a company called Yona, and using autonomous drones, they help to deliver vital medicine to rural places in Papua New Guinea that, you know, would take days to get to by road. So the autonomous drones are not the same drones as you would find using, you know, your remote controls, but these have to find their own way over hundreds of kilometers. And this is actually a project by our own students. Similarly, we have another project also by our students while they were still in school with us. Now they have spun off into a startup company, and but the undergraduate version is still here for you to do, and we call that the Bumblebee. And in Bumblebee, what they have done is to build robots that are autonomous on the surface of water as well as underwater. Now, an interesting thing that they don't often talk about is that they have used the underwater remote vehicle to help the Singapore police recover a body of somebody who actually fell into Singapore River. So for dangerous jobs in places where, you know, it's difficult for humans to get to, autonomous crafts like Bumblebee, as well as Yona, which you saw earlier, are some things that mechanical engineers have invented to help make our lives better by designing and building new products like this. So another way that engineers, mechanical engineers may be involved in, which you might not know about, is when we look at thermal transfers, heat transfers, energies, and so on. And this is a project by one of our colleagues where he's actually able to use a new kind of cooling technology, not your normal air conditioning. And they were able to cool Kopitiam in Clementi with a huge energy savings of 32%. And we can see that these kinds of technologies will become more and more important as we go into the future with climate change and sustainability issues. So you have already seen that, you know, mechanical engineering is everywhere and in everything. And the areas that are highlighted here, you know, things like urban farming, future transportation, clean energy, different kinds of manufacturing, and different kinds of robotics, you're sure to find something that, you know, will keep your interests and motivate you to develop and keep on designing. So I'm not going to go into too much about curriculum. It's fairly similar to what you might find in the other engineering programs. We have a fairly flexible curriculum with the launch of the new common curriculum, as well as, you know, the ability to do double majors, to do minors, and so on. Instead, I'm actually going to talk a little bit more about our projects that are unique to us, as well as some of the global opportunities that mechanical engineering students have access to. So you've already seen in our videos, we have 4 specializations. The robotic specialization is popular, and you can see that aeronautical is also there. And energy and sustainability is going to become a bigger and bigger issue. So if you're interested in that area, you are more than welcome to do our specializations. Now, let me get to what is unique to our curriculum. One of the things that we're very proud of is our industry-sponsored design projects, where you use the knowledge that you've studied in earlier years and put that to work by solving real-life engineering problems that are given by industry. So you will get mentors from the companies that gives us the problems, as well as academic advisors in mechanical engineering. And so these are group design projects where you can design products or assemblies, or even look at how systems are made. So one of the reasons why we are so pleased with that we have these group projects is that, you know, because of the mentors coming from the company, they are then able to assess you as you work with them. And so you might even get internship or employment offers with the companies, which have happened with our graduates before. So our company partners come from many, many places, including even healthcare and hospitality, which you might not have considered. So we've been running this for over 15 years, and we have hundreds of partners with us. And the next slide just shows you a small selection of the kinds of partners we have. There are big names here and smaller names, but you can see that they come from everywhere. So now I want to show you some of the student projects that you can do while you are in mechanical engineering. And so one of the more, the well-known ones are our race car projects, the Formula SAE projects, which have been going on for 20 years this year. And they've consistently been placed very high in the competitions, even though we are not a car making nation. But with companies like Hyundai coming in to do the electric car plant, who knows, there might be skills that are going to be put to use there. Another popular project with our students who are interested in aeronautics is our flapping wing micro air vehicle. So you can see that it doesn't look like a normal plane or a drone. And in fact, they resemble birds or insects. And you can see that and with this project, you find that we have been doing really well in the local as well as international competitions. And our students learn a whole different set of skills by being involved in these projects. Now, as you know, NUS has a lot of student exchanges. In fact, of all the universities in Singapore, NUS has the most number of partner universities. And so you are able to do a student exchange in these universities. But what I want to highlight is that the Faculty of Engineering is the only engineering school in the world that has year-long exchanges at both Oxford and Cambridge. And one of the things about student exchange programs for mechanical engineering students is that because our curriculum is very flexible, most of the vast majority of our partner universities, including Oxford and Cambridge, have mechanical engineering modules. So we find that our mechanical engineering students are find it very flexible to map their modules when they go on student exchange programs. And also we are able to, our partner universities are often able to accommodate mechanical engineering students. So that's one of the perks of being in mechanical engineering. Then we also have our very well-regarded NUS overseas colleges, where you intern for a year or 6 months in a startup company around the world and also study at the same time. And similar to the student exchange program, we find that the NUS overseas colleges, you know, for mechanical engineering students, is very flexible for you to be in these programs. So career prospects for mechanical engineers are everywhere, from you know, production, manufacturing, to defense, even biomedical devices and biomedical processes, and also consulting, as well as non-engineering fields such as banking and finance. So finally, you know, we are at quite an exciting time in the department, because over the last 2 years, we have had many new young and dynamic professors being recruited. And so they're not just the top of their game in terms of research, we also screen them very carefully to make sure that they're great teachers as well. So, when you come to us, you'll be in good hands. So that's the end of my presentation. Do visit us online for more information. And now we are going to go to our Q&A. So I'm going to continue with the Q&A, and I'm going to bring up my Q&A screen.
Hi, Christina. There were quite a few questions about projects and whether all the ME students will have a chance to work with industry, and how do they select the projects? How did they get involved? Perhaps you could elaborate a bit more on that?
Right. So the projects, GS Hong, Professor Hong Gyok-soon, would you like to talk a little bit more about the industry design projects?
Yeah, sorry. Okay, now I managed to get...
Yes, we can hear you.
Just answer.
Hi, we can hear you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. We do have projects that is offered by industry in one of those, the project that you mentioned about earlier on. And in fact, for most of them are industrial offer project. And we do have others that is offered by research institutes as well. So we have a combination of them, which most of them are industrial project. And then we do have some created by some of the staff members have some ideas and they want to get a groups and then they propose something else as well. Most of the projects are actually industrial related.
Yes, thanks, GS. So just to add on to that, we have a dedicated full-time staff who actually helps to coordinate and source for projects from industry. So we actually take the industry design project very seriously. Everybody will get a chance if you want to do those projects. Okay, so you can kind of queue for the projects that you like. There are a few of them. So I'm going to go on quickly and answer and ask, I think there's a question on, which comes up often, what's the difference between NTU's aerospace engineering degree versus our specialization in aeronautical engineering? I'm going to get my colleague, Professor Teo Chi Leong, to give us the answer for that one. Chi Leong? Or is that Chang Dui?
Okay, the main difference between NUS, the Aeronautical Engineering NUS, and the Aeronautical Engineering NTU is that at NUS we offer it as a specialization, but not as a degree. And the reason why we do that is to ensure that there are opportunities for the students to not only, upon graduation, apply for jobs in the aviation industry, but also to explore other industries in which they can work in. So that's one of the main differences that we have. And our aviation, or rather our aeronautical specialization here, we also work very closely with Temasek laboratories, right? And that's actually, they actually have a lot of research projects which are funded by defense, which are working on aviation systems. And that's something that NTU does not have. So these are some of the main differences.
Right, thank you. So there is a question here as well, which is asking about aero specialization. If you do not choose aero specialization at the point of admission, will you still be able to specialize later? And yes, the answer is yes. We do keep aside some spaces for admission after the second year into your third year. So you are able to choose to specialize later. But of course, there are limited spaces available, and it's also by merit to see how well you perform. But yes, there are opportunities there. I think right now I want to go to a student life question. And we have students with us. Jing Kai is going to try and answer the question about how is student life like as an ME student? Do you still have a life?
Hi, can you guys hear me? Is this good?
Yes, this is
Give me
good.
a thumbs up. Okay, right. That's great. Hi, I'm Jing Kai. Okay, so I actually kind of expected someone to ask this question, right? So again, this is not sponsored, huh? Okay, I'm a legit NUS student. Okay, so coming from an NUS engineering student perspective, I would say that your first 2 years are pretty much very structured. So they actually plan it very neatly for the first 2 years where you actually go back to all your foundations and everything. But the more interesting thing that I would like to highlight, right, is actually from the third year onwards. So for myself, I actually embarked on NOC Shenzhen. So if you guys were in the presentation earlier, right? So NOC Shenzhen is actually part of this overseas exchange program where we get to work under startups. So for myself, I was very lucky. It was the batch right before COVID hit. So I had actually the full hands-on experience there. And I would say that out of all the semesters, this one was probably the most mind-blowing and the most things that I can take away, but I should not like take too much time. So I actually have a YouTube video that covers on student life in NUS. You can go and check it out. You can literally just find life of an NUS mechanical engineering student, and I think it's one of the top few videos over there. Or you can just search JKLAH. Yeah, that's my channel name. So if you got any more specific questions, I think you can just type them inside the chat. But I would really highly encourage you guys to go for exchange programs. So you at least like try something that's out of your comfort zone. You can get to meet many new people as well. And I'm not sure if Nicole has anything to add on for this aspect.
Hi everyone, I'm Nicole, also a year 4 mechanical engineer. So yeah, I totally agree with what Jing Kai say, to just basically take your time in year 1 and year 2 to really go and explore whatever projects there might be out there, so that you can gain more experience and apply what you've learned in your uni courses. Yep.
Right, thank you, Jing Kai and Nicole. And by the way, Jing Kai, as he said, he actually he's a social media influencer and he has a channel. His videos are quite interesting. So please go look up his videos. Now, there's a question about, does the ME department have special provisions for poly graduates coming in? So can I get one of my colleagues to answer that? For poly students, GS Hong?
Yeah, we do have the special exemptions. Typically it's around 40 in general, 40 MC in general. But the details of what is exempted varies from program to program, because it depending on, we have to look into your program disciplines to decide what to be exempted in that way. Right. And if you go back to you, because I cannot answer specific to which program that you're in, but if you go back to your poly, they actually liaise with us every year on what to be accredited on the modules there. Right. So they should be able to tell you what is how many MC is exempted, and the detail of it is we can sort it out after you join the department there. Typically, it's around at least 20 MC on the UEM side. And then others modules will be depending on your program backgrounds. Then we do a program to programs exemptions from there. We have a full list of it. I can't get the details in here in this short time, but if you want, you can just make the ME inquiries email. We will be able to answer to you on that request.
Right. We have a couple of questions that I'd like to look at. So which is about startups and also careers. So one of the questions is, do we have startups from NUS in this degree? So I'm assuming that the question is, did any of our graduates go on to do startups? Yes. I introduced two. Yona is one. The autonomous drone for vaccine and medicine delivery. The other one is Bumblebee, which went on to become BX. We also have other startups who, in fact, many of our students actually go on to the NUS overseas colleges, and a lot of them have, come out and looked at and thought about starting up companies. Some of them are in the midst of doing that. The other question about whether COVID impacts ME career prospects. I think COVID impacted pretty much everybody. But if you look at the latest graduate employment survey from MOE, which was published last month, you will find that mechanical engineers are still doing quite well because, you know, you need mechanical engineers everywhere. Anything that you touch, because, you know, mechanical engineers help to for is necessary for the interface between humans and, you know, physical things. So any modern technology that is that is in the physical world will need a mechanical engineer to interface. I think we have run out of time, Rose. Is that true?
We have, yes, no more time for this session. So if you could have final words, perhaps, before we transfer.
Right, so everybody who stayed online with us for the department sharing until 5 p.m., I just want to thank you so much for listening to us. We hope that we have been able to answer some of your questions, but if not, you know, we're still there. You can reach us through our emails, or, you know, drop us a note on Facebook, and we'll be more than happy to help answer your queries. And this is not the end. We will have further sessions to talk to you if you're interested in mechanical engineering throughout the next 2 months. So look out for our announcements. Thank you so much, everybody. We will go to a forum later, I think, and I'll still be there. So see you again soon at about 5 in half an hour. Bye.